Well, hello there, folks, and welcome back to some more The Operational Art of War 4. I want to thank everybody for sticking with this series. We're up to, I believe, episode 11 now in the first Indochina War, and it's been awesome. So, we've done some pretty interesting stuff in our last few episodes. You should definitely take a look at that, but it's safe to say that we have put a hurting on the Viet Minh. That being said, some people put some very good thoughts, and that is we've been basically chasing the Viet Minh here in the north of the city, and we've been killing thousands of them, maybe even tens of thousands. But the fact is, there are guys getting into the city. So we're going to have to take some guys away from the front lines to deal with this situation. I want to do basically not really a retreat. It is a retreat, but sort of a measured withdrawal is what I'd like to call it. And pull our guys back over here to the we're going to call it the Nam line. I'm also going to attack here. We've got some paratrooper units here on the side, and I think they would do very well against this 2-3, but that's not my biggest concern. In fact, we'll take a look at my biggest concern very soon here. That's going to be the 316th Infantry Division right here. So we're doing something to get back there to the center of the city, and again, I think we're going to have to use these existing units to make that happen. Let's go ahead and hit that 2-4. Should be able to bring in quite a lot of support here from our Foreign Legion. And I'm not using the bombers yet. We don't need to, so I'm not going to do it. I'm also going to group move here. Not a lot of guys here, and there is a guerrilla army right there, the Bodoi. Nonetheless, we are going to go ahead and begin our attacks against this 2-5 unit at least. We'll get to the 921 soon, hopefully. Now, for the 2-5, since we're not going to be able to attack the 921 this turn, I will bring in the bombers. So they're going to get some bomber support there, and hopefully that'll assist them in this battle. Over here to the south, we've got a similar situation where I just want to go ahead and form that secondary line again. So we're basically, in the first part of this entire campaign, 10 episodes ago, we had a very similar look to what we have now, which is we're reforming this frontal line. Minh Bin is under our control, and we want it to fully be under our control. So I'm actually sending this large group of actual fun boats. These are basically combat boats, or patrol boats, I guess you'd know them. And I think we can put the patrol boats right here to stave off any enemy attacks. In the meantime, we want to continue to be aggressive, and especially hit these larger armies, like the 4-9, the 4-7. There's a lot of guys here, but we also have a lot of defenders. So let's go ahead. I'm not going to worry so much about the south. We've got it under control for the most part, and even the areas that we don't have under control aren't really being attacked much. The concern is, of course, the forces in Hue. We've got some Marines here, and actually, I think it's better to retreat them because at least they'll survive instead of getting killed here by the forces that are spawning out of Hue. And that's one problem we have here, no doubt about it. If you guys see the forces in Hue, they've got a lot of them. We're not going to be able to break through with these men. We're just not going to. This is the ANV column. So I want to see, I'm not sure specifically. I believe these are South Vietnamese units, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, we also had an operation heading towards this southern base of Ca Mau. We'll keep that up, but again, it's not our main priority at all. Our main priority is the northern area. Let's see if we can't bring in some support here. Let's bring in those river boats, those patrol boats. I think they can join in on this action. Oh, definitely, man. That infantry is about to get slammed by patrol boats. Just imagine, you see you've got like sort of a river to your left or your right, and all of a sudden machine gun fire erupts and absolutely crushes you. And that's exactly what's about to happen. We're also going to move this tank unit into Canto and slowly south towards our main objective here in the south. I would much prefer to be one of our units in the south right now because it seems that most of the enemy units here are either sort of like guerrilla units or gang units, criminal units. There's not too much resistance, I have to say. I'm also going to bring this tank back, and we will end the turn with that, guys. I think we've done what we can. Let's keep those fingers crossed. Good work. So there we go. Destroyed an enemy army. There's going to be some prisoners there that we can take with us. And over here, we're doing this measured retreat. We're also doing sort of a counterattack to the enemy position here. All right, let's see how the paratroopers do here in the south. I think the paratroopers and the Foreign Legion troops are some of our best units, but the paratroopers still managed to surprise me with how ferocious they are. Look at some of these attacks, man. This army we completely destroyed, as you can see here. Probably took a lot of them prisoner too, and lost very few men. And we have other victories over here with 100%. I mean, these are the kind of victories we want. Basically annihilating entire enemy divisions. In this one, however, this was the one closest to the center of the city. The enemy didn't lose many men, and it looks like they have basically mingled in with the urban population, because we even lost 3 Bearcats against the enemy here. So they've got some anti-air equipment in our city firing at us. So we cannot say that the northern city is under our control at all, because it just isn't. It's not. Sure, we control most of it, but there are parts that are under enemy control. So I think that's going to be the main focus now, is bringing these boys back to deal with that situation. But I don't know how much they're going to be able to move after those attacks. In fact, I think they're pretty much done for the day in terms of movement. Here, I'm just going to send these guys in to do a bombing run. It's that simple. I just want to do a bombing run against their infantry unit. And we might still be able to attack this guy that got behind us. So we'll still get one more attack in this turn at least. It's impossible to predict, but I'm predicting we're going to crush that enemy. And again, you guys can see me pulling the units back here as best I can. We want to consolidate the center of the city under our complete control. Then we can start pushing out again. I mean, we've done a great job pushing out against the enemy here. But it's time to really consolidate our victory and move back. We don't want to bite off more than we can chew. However, I will attack that enemy artillery. I can't help myself. These paratroopers back as well. All right, there's our bombers coming in for that attack. I hope we're managing to do some significant damage to the enemy, that 921. Even with all of the units we have right now, it's going to be tough to destroy that unit. That's a big army unit. I'm hoping, though, that their line of supply is slightly cut off, and if not, it will be pretty soon. So we failed our force proficiency check. That's bad, guys. That means the communication between our forces is degrading significantly. They're having trouble communicating. They're getting frustrated with one another. Probably some officer rivalry going on. I mean, it's a confusing war, without a doubt. So I can understand why. But failing a force proficiency check is bad. Of course, now it's going to be the Viet Minh turn. Let's see what they do. Whoa, there's a few units. That was in the south, guys, that initial move. So they've got a few units in the south that we're not spotting. They're also pushing into the city. More forces coming, so we need to keep on pulling back and hopefully catch them. And of course, these forces coming out of Hue, just a massive amount of Viet Minh forces coming out of Hue. That's going to be tough for us to handle. If I'm not mistaken, this is enemy air superiority. Is that possible? It's got to be artillery. It can't be air superiority. We're going to take a look at the casualties, but if we find out that the enemy has some actual, airplanes, I'm going to be a little disappointed. That being said, they probably do have some MiGs, but I wouldn't expect them to use them in this conflict, since our air superiority is actually quite good. You can also see there are 2 attacks against our patrol boats, and our patrol boats held. So I'm really proud of them. Anybody says that the Coast Guard is for... I'm not going to say the word because then YouTube is going to demonetize this, but you're wrong. The Coast Guard is definitely a tough organization. But see, Haiphong is now under enemy control. They have taken central Haiphong. This is the farthest they've been. We managed to destroy most of their army, but taking central Haiphong would probably result in a very similar outcome to when the Viet Cong took Hue. And that was, they killed a lot of their enemies, they purged their political opponents. You know, it was a bloody mess. So them getting into Haiphong definitely is not going to gain us a lot of support amongst the South Vietnamese who are trusting us to keep the communists out of here. Man, unbelievable. Over here, like for instance, we managed to hold. They did basically crush themselves against us in some of these areas, but in some of them they did very, very well. So we want to be very careful, guys, in the future. The bombardment didn't do anything. And this is one of the problems, is quite often when you're bombing Viet Minh forces, they go into their caves, they go into the jungle, you can't see them. So by the time your planes get there, they're not even there anymore. Okay. Okay, guys, some news. Haiphong capture. Monsoon season has begun. Now, this is interesting, guys. When the monsoon season begins, you know, we're talking about rain for months on end. This is going to affect movement. It's going to affect all sorts of things. We can see the weather there. It's raining all over the place. This is going to be tough for both armies, I think. But maybe this will give us a little bit of breathing room when we're dealing with the enemy. I don't know. Like, maybe it'll make their movements harder, so we'll just be able to stay in the city and sort of regain health for some of these units, regain cohesion, etc. I honestly don't know. I can only guess. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, as always, I appreciate your comments down below. Please make some, and make sure to check out our playlist. I'm putting our playlist in the description as well. So if you are new to this series, you definitely want to go see what we've got, man. We've got a ton in this series. This has been a long one, and we have yet to stop it. We still have interest in it, so we will keep providing you guys videos. Thank you again. Take care, guys. And, of course, as always, vive la France.